Happiness from within. And it's good that you asked that question because looking around and going about meeting with people and experiencing life in the different ways that we experience it, it's not every day that people that you come into contact with are for your happiness. They are not for you. They are after their own needs and desires, and they want to achieve great things in life. They may not care much about you. And again, with the way things run in the world, the challenges we go through on a daily basis, the obstacles we have to overcome, the wars and the all the things that we know that are negative, they are outside in the world. Happiness from within is what is going to count for you, going through this life confidently and coming out shining every single day, even through the challenges and the whatever negative things are happening around you. So I really value my happiness coming from within because, again, I say it doesn't count those who are around. It's not your environment, it's not what is happening, is what it is that you're going to bring from within. That is what is going to matter most.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another beautiful episode of Happiness from Within. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Jeanette Prado. Our mission here is to touch people's hearts and souls at a very deep level and to inspire over 1 billion people to find happiness and healing. So thank you for those of you joining us today. I'm really excited today. We have a new guest. His name is Anthony. I'll let him pronounce his last name because I don't want to butcher it. He's
I
coming
love
from us
hearing
all the
it.
way from Greece. I'm gonna let him, he is an author speaker, and I'm gonna let him tell us a little bit about himself, but I actually have him here. Hi, Anthony, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's great connecting with you on this amazing platform, social media. I just saw that you had a lot of energy, and I thought that, you know what, I was like, I gotta get this guy on my podcast.
Thank you for the invite. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely.
And
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Kenya. That's where I was born and grew up. Although currently I'm staying in Athens, Greece. And I'm looking forward to go far and wide. Where is it in the world that you are at? Maybe I come there someday soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm here in the heart of here in Los Angeles, California. So where
Wow,
all the movie stars are.
that's wonderful. Are you one of them? Are you a movie star? Maybe.
In my heart.
Okay,
It's
that's
funny you
good.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
As a child, it's funny because I lived most of my life in California and part of my life in the state of Washington and Oregon. When I was
Mm.
little, though, I did want to be a movie star. My aunt took me to the agency. I was like, "Yeah, you guys gonna make me famous?" Famous? They're like, "Of course we are." Like a million other people that come to LA, right? But it's funny that kind of faded over time. I just didn't see that, as a mission. But when you're a kid and you live here, right, in the Los Angeles area, so. But but yeah. So my next question to you is, what does happiness from within mean to you?
Happiness from within. And it's good that you asked that question because looking around and going about meeting with people and experiencing life in the different ways that we experience it, it's not every day that people that you come into contact with are for your happiness. They are not for you. They are after their own needs and desires, and they want to achieve great things in life. They may not care much about you. And again, with the way things run in the world, the challenges we go through on a daily basis, the obstacles we have to overcome, the wars and the all the things that we know that are negative, they are outside in the world. Happiness from within is what is going to count for you, going through this life confidently and coming out shining every single day, even through the challenges and the whatever negative things are happening around you. So I really value my happiness coming from within because, again, I say it doesn't count those who are around. It's not your environment, is not what is happening, is what it is that you're going to bring from within. That is what is going to matter most.
Wow, that's a really great answer. Yeah, a lot of people that I've interviewed, I get a lot of beautiful answers. I don't think I've ever heard someone give that answer. So thank you for that.
Wow.
That was really really from the heart. Thank you for that.
Mm,
Really, really great.
thank you.
Yeah, that's why the podcast isn't happiness from the outside, it's happiness from within.
I'm humbled. Yes, and this is a good, it's a good topic. It's a good title of a podcast.
Well, thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Yes, and once again, even before you ask your next question, listening to you and your introduction to the podcast, talking about inspiring 1 billion people. I love that. I love coming across or getting to be in contact or partnering with people who are big dreamers. You meet with people talking about inspiring 100 people, 1,000 people, maybe 1 million people. And then you discover that we are more than 1 million, we are more than 100 million, we are about 8 billion. So having that target to inspire 1 billion people, I will tell you that yes, it is possible for you to achieve. And I desire that you achieve your dream.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's actually over 1 billion people because I don't want to limit myself. So
Oh, don't limit yourself. That's very good of you. Yeah, it's possible for you. You're going to make it. Go for it.
thank you. I was inspired by this by one of my guests that I had on my podcast. His name's David Meltzer. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I
He's got a
haven't.
sports marketing agency, and his whole mission is also to inspire over 1 billion people to find happiness. And
Mhm.
I decided to add that as my mission. And so I just added to help people find happiness and healing. So I
That's
did
very
interview
good.
him. You should check out that podcast interview. It was really great.
Yeah, we've got to check. His name again?
David Meltzer.
Okay, David Meltzer.
Yeah,
I will check on that.
he runs a multi-million-dollar sports marketing agency, but he's one of the most humble people you'll ever meet. Very, very
Okay.
humble. Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
I've met him several times in person, so he's a he's one of my great business friends. You know, I learn a lot. I've been through some of his programs but anyway,
Mm-hmm.
he's a good person, so
It's good. I love good people.
yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What inspired you to want to be an author speaker?
A lot inspired me, but I like maybe to go back to the place that I was born and I was growing up. Born in a small village in central Kenya,
Oh,
where we could have some limited resources. As you know, we are talking about Africa. I don't have to stress on that because many of the listeners or the viewers have an idea of what is that all about. So coming from that part and experiencing life the way I experienced it, I knew that our limited resources could, I mean, that's all that I experienced. That's all I knew in my early age. But then in the exposure to the external world, getting to hear over the radio that was famous at that time, getting to watch TV, I realized that there's much more than my environment. And I got to understand as I went into my teen years that it's possible for me to achieve anything that I want in life if I look at those people who are achieving and know how they are doing it and becoming great people in life. And so I got involved in personal development and reading self-help books. And I gained the idea that yes, it's possible for me to achieve, yeah, to live my life and live it better and live it purposeful and live it productive. And that is the path that I took to move in. And looking back from the influences that I got from people, from books, from things that I listened, I had the desire to give back to the society. So I had the desire to inspire other people, just like as I was inspired growing up. I started speaking to the youth because, as I said, my teen years is where some transformation took. Uh, And I want to give back to those people who are developing in their mind, those young souls, those young minds that are trying to find their path in life, and give them an idea of how it is to find your path and live a purposeful life and a productive life. And actually, that's when I came out. Now, I've been speaking for some time, but then at some point, I got the idea. Someone inspired me to write a book. And this is the importance of this social media, is the importance of having a conversation like the one that we are having right now, because it's from some words that we are going to share that we may inspire someone to take an action that he has been contemplating about, some action that he hasn't thought about, and gains that insight from what it is that we are sharing. So I got an inspiration to write. As I was on social media, I'm sharing some videos inspiring people. And someone asked me, "Hey, Anthony, have you written a book? Because what you're sharing here could be helpful to someone." I said, "Oh, how do we go about that?" I was talking to an author.
Hmm.
When you talk to people who've been there and done that, and you ask them on the way, the path to be where they have been, then they are ready to help you. And this author was ready to help me get started on writing my book. So, as I mentioned, I have a young man, my child. I have two boys,
Oh,
and
wow.
they were teenagers at that time that someone mentioned that. So I thought, okay, why don't I give some words of wisdom to my young teenagers to help them maneuver in life?
Wow.
And what could I tell them? Hey, young people, be good and be good for good. So that's when I wrote my book, Be Good for Good, that has some stories of goodness with lessons on life. And I hope I have answered your question just as you wanted me to.
No, it's great. So I see there's a few other books back there. How many books have you written?
Right now, I've written 3 books. So I wrote that. That was not actually meant to be my first book. And let me talk about this. The day that I wrote my first book was 20 years after I had a desire to write my first book, of which I had written it down and put it into a manuscript, but it never got published.
Hmm.
Just imagine this, for 20 good years, I have a dream and I have made the first step, but then I don't realize that dream. And I'm talking to someone who's listening to us or watching us here, who may be having a dream and has not actualized that dream.
Hmm.
You've got to just make up your mind, or maybe pick some words that we are sharing here and get started. Take an action. Do it. So that was not meant to be my first book. The first book I wrote, it just came because I was in that position where I was to reach to some people at that particular time. And that's why I wrote my first, I published that, I wrote and published that Be Good for Good. And then I went back to that manuscript that was supposed to have been published. I came up with a workbook that is known as the Achieve Your Dream Workbook, that has
Oh,
got the 7 ingredients for success. They can help you achieve anything you want in life.
wow.
After that, I started interviewing some authors, and authors came and talked about their books. I have a podcast. I had started a podcast that was known as Book Talk, and people shared about how they wrote and published their books. And then from those people, I invited them and I asked them, hey, can we put some words together and put it into a book that we can help other people who are aspiring writers to know how to write and publish their own books? So I've got 16 stories in that book,
Wow.
which is my third book. 16 stories from 16 authors who have written and published their own books.
Wow.
Some of them are have books, novels that are just about to be turned into a movie in Hollywood. So I have 3 books. That's the long answer to a short question.
Oh,
3 books so far.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really great. What would be, if you don't mind sharing an experience, you don't mind sharing an experience of something that a dark time in your life and how you overcame it?
Tough time in my life and how I overcame. Now, what could that be? Now, as I say, have met with challenges in my life and I have overcome them. But I can't recall right now one of the big ones that I could share. And what could I? I don't know. But okay, maybe I can.
Whatever comes from your heart.
Yeah, maybe I can just mention about writing my book
Sure.
and publishing it. Because when I was given that idea of publishing my book, even though I had written a manuscript that was pending somewhere on my computer, I didn't have an idea of how to publish, and it takes a lot to put a book out there. There is going to be some editing, there's going to be proofreading, there's going to be formatting, there's going to be designing cover. I didn't know how to go about that. And so when you meet with a challenge like that, it's good to look around, ask questions, read, learn, and that's exactly what I did, taking from my mentor and also my coach and guy. He gave me also another person that I came into contact with at that some point. And it's an interesting with life, just as we had a talk before, and you mentioned that sometimes you let uh, nature take its course. It's an interesting thing with life that once you get started on a path, you're going to meet with things along the path that are going to help you reach your destination, things that you had not imagined. So, starting on writing and publishing my book, I didn't know that I was going to come into contact with many other people who could be uh, who could have been through the same path and accomplished much, but they came to me just at the right time. So I had my book edited, formatted, finally published, and I'm thankful for that. So that could be one of the challenges that I overcame, and I'm glad to share it with my viewers or listeners.
Absolutely. How long did it take you to write your first book?
In my first book, the one that was not the manuscript, the one that had not been published for 20 years, it took me about 5 months, I say.
Oh, wow.
That's the workbook. And then when now that idea of publishing a book revisited, that book took actually 2 months to write and put it together.
So where can people find these books?
They are on Amazon.
Okay.
They are on Amazon. And if you just can type "Be Good for Good" on Google, that's the book that comes up. I use the hashtag "Be Good for Good." That's my book that you'll find if you go to Google and search for "Be Good for Good."
That's
And then
great.
if
I
you
like the
get,
title. It's very, very simple, you know.
yeah, and if you get to that, you can always go to Amazon and you'll land on my profile in on Amazon, so the other books can be available to you.
Okay, well, we'll make sure to put the link for that below. Um, so right now you said you're living in Greece, correct?
Yes,
Okay, how do you like it there?
it's beautiful. Now, Greece is known for its history in many areas, civilization, religion. For Christians. I mean, it's got a great deal of good things here to enjoy. We've got some good beach around. It's surrounded by water, and have good summers. I mean, it's a beautiful place to be.
Great. What are some of the challenges that you deal with on a daily basis as an entrepreneur?
Challenges that I deal with on a daily basis. Now, that's a good question.
And what do you do to overcome them?
It's a good question, and looking at the way things are happening around in many places is that there's a lot of competition. Just every single day that we wake up, there's someone who's trying to do what you're doing and maybe doing it better than you're doing. So that's a big challenge. So for you to get to your client, to your target market, and come out with a sale, come out with some success in whatever it is that you're doing, then you've got to learn much. You've got to take more action.
Yeah.
You've got to link up with people who are doing so that you can do it better, because two are always better than one. So those are some of the things that I do. I link up with people who have done it, some people who would want to do, and maybe I have something that I can offer them, and that is going to be of benefit to both of us, and then we keep growing. So there's competition, there are challenges coming. Now, I'll give you an example. It so happened that I published my first book 3 years back. That's when I published my first book. And immediately, no, that's 2 years later after I published my first book. So I had published my second book because I've published 3 books, one per year. Maybe I'm going to increase the speed. Then the second year is when AI came up. Now, AI, as you can know, people are using ChatGPT to put out content out there in a day, a book in a day. Now, it may have its negative effects. It may have, I mean, it may not be up to standard of what it is that you expect to read in a good book. But then you see that when you are writing a book in 2 months and another person is writing a book in one day, so it's something that people are dealing with right now. So those are challenges that exist for any entrepreneur. The changing of climate, environment, and things like that. You're gonna meet with challenges every single day of your life, and you've got to learn how to overcome them and maneuver your way to success.
No, that was really powerful what you shared because I really like
Mm-hmm.
what you said about connecting with others that are doing the same because it's like I was telling you about David Meltzer, right? I've connected with him and other people on his team and other entrepreneurs. Um, I recently did an interview with my previous podcasting coach from the Passionate Few. Incredible team, right? They've been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
He does it for full-time living. It's amazing. And I make sure to stay connected with like-minded people like that, right? Because we have to be really careful with our energy, right? And who we give our energy to, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
people like you and I that are doing good things in the world, because we're good-hearted people, there's people that want to take advantage of that. And I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure there's people that have given you negativity. We all go through it, right? But it's how we
Mm-hmm.
respond. I just want to add this. I saw like let me give you an analogy. Let's say somebody wants to insult you, right? It's how you
Mm-hmm.
respond to that. Like, I'm not saying this is always easy because we're human beings, we're not robots, but I saw this post the other day, if you don't mind me sharing on Instagram, and basically the moral of the story was this is there was a Buddha, right? And basically there was this person that really wanted to insult him, right? And basically he was trying to do all these things to insult the Buddha, right? And basically he's like, why aren't you getting angry? He threw so many things at him, right? He's like, and this is what he told him. This is really amazing. I think you'll appreciate this, and those that are listening, is that he's like, just like a gift. If somebody gives you a gift, right? You can receive it or not receive it. Like, right? Most of the time people
Mm-hmm.
receive the gift. Well, he says, I'm giving you that gift back because I don't need that negativity. Thank you very much. And so what ended up happening because he had this, high life condition, right? This sort of attitude, right? The person
Mm-hmm.
that was doing all this things to him, like it just kind of backlashed, like, oh, and he was the one that was feeling like crap, because he
Yeah.
was targeting the wrong person. So when I
Mm-hmm.
saw that the other day, I was just like, wow, that's really powerful, you know.
That's powerful. It's powerful. It's a good one. So you're given that gift and you say, okay, I don't want that.
There you go.
So
I'll give it back to you.
I'll give it back to you. The negativity, the attacks, the bullying, whatever it is that people are bringing towards you that is not beneficial to you, then you can always give them back and say, hey, that's not for me.
Yeah, because we all go through that. I mean, I think one of the hardest places is probably our family, right? Our
Hmm.
family is probably one of the most difficult, can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I've talked to. It's always the family, like they'll say, "Why don't you get a real job?" Right? Or but again,
Uh,
it's that it's how we respond, right? So, but anyways, I just wanted to add to what you were saying, and but yeah, so we're about to end. Are there any last minute words you'd like to say before we go? Before we end?
yeah, it's thank you very much for what it is that you're doing in this world. You're impacting the world in a positive way, and I appreciate you're a blessing to people. Now, I'll tell the people who are listening, yes, uh, get that freedom to express that happiness that is from within. Yes, you have the freedom to do so. So just do it. Be happy and be good for good and spread the happiness that you have. Let's make this world a beautiful place just because we are existing and we have the opportunity to impact it in a positive way. Are you going to take that opportunity and use it in the correct way, in the right way? Yeah, please do for the sake of you and I, for the sake of Janet, and for the sake of me. Let's spread the goodness. Thank
Wow,
you.
that was really beautiful. I want to thank you for being a guest here. Um, Anthony Muiruri, right?
Yeah, you said it good.
Well, we'll make sure to put the links below where people can find you, but where can people find you for those that are listening that don't
If
have something
you
to write down with?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. If you just type, I repeat again, Be Good for Good on Google, you will land on some of my social platforms. But if you can also type in www and just write my name is written, anthonymuiruri.com, you land on my website.
Okay. All right, perfect.
Yeah,
Well, we'll make sure to put the links for that and for your books below. And again, thank you for being a guest here on Happiness from Within. And those that are listening or watching, have a beautiful day. Bye for
and
now.
thank you very much.
And remember
I
to
appreciate it.
smile. Remember to smile because you're worthy.